firstly, apologies for absence, we've got Councillor Black, Flint, and Secretary. Yes. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Disclosures of interest. Disclosures of interest. Public questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak about an application that we have in Swarland. I think you touched on it in the video that I watched from last month's meeting. I'd just like to clarify what it is that we're doing, just so it's clear. I believe Felton has been asked because the part of the land crosses from the settlement, the parish of Swarland into the parish of Felton, even though the majority of the site and the access is within Swarland. So it's an application to build 2 self-built, custom-built houses on a plot of land which has extant plan permission for an indoor riding arena, 160 square metre indoor riding arena, and a car park for 7 cars. David Blackshaw owns this part of the land. I just want to make it clear it's not the equestrian centre which currently exists today. That's owned by somebody else, and that's a commercial livery. This is just a private piece of land, and if we were to continue and build the riding arena, it wouldn't be a private riding arena, so it wouldn't bring any more wealth or anything else into sport. So the land in question is accessed from within Swarland, and then it crosses over the Swarland parish settlement boundary, and then enters into a bit more of Swarland, then a little bit on the fringe of Felton. So it's a bit of a strange one. The planning officers obviously invited consultees from yourselves because of that infringement into the Felton parish. The proposal is to not build the riding arena. We actually have extant permission. We've dug the foundations, so it is now extant, and we can continue to build it. But we've put that on hold, and the proposal application is to build 2 dwelling houses, self-build and custom-build, one for myself and one for David. One of them is a 2-bedroom house, and the other one is a 3-bedroom house, so they're not large, certainly not mansions. I think somebody did mention billionaire mansions was mentioned, and they're not that type of build. They do probably look good on the 3D imagery because we've made them very contemporary. We've put cedar cladding on. There's a lot of glass elevation, and it's all been designed following a landscape impact assessment, which the council requested us to do that after our last application, which was refused due to the worry that it was going to have an impact on the landscape, and it didn't comply with one of the policies to build in open countryside. So this application is now addressing those issues. We've done a landscape impact assessment with drones and visual 3D imagery of the riding arena versus the 2 houses. Obviously the houses are much smaller in scale, mass and height, and they've been orientated so that you can't see them anywhere from Park Road, which is the only visible public access that you can see this particular site. The houses are going to be near passive house, airtight, air source, highly sustainable solar panels, water harvesting for grey water for the toilets and things like this. One of the policies that we have to try and overcome is to build in open countryside, because it's on the one side of the settlement boundary, and that is HOU 7. And HOU 7 dictates to us that it has to be a self-built house, which will be a custom-built house, meaning we are having strong input into the design, and also an affordable build, which is a bit odd for us that we have to build a self-build, which is then affordable as well. So the affordable element is, if we were to ever sell the 2 houses, each of our houses, they will be offered a 20% discount as part of the Northumberland Council policy as affordance. So that's secured by an S106. So the way we've pitched the application, we've got it policy compliant. We've got a planning officer, a planning consultant, Georgette White, working with us on this. So it's policy compliant as far as the policies stand currently on the Northumberland Council website. So one of the things that I would like to ask Felton Parish is obviously to help support or stay neutral with this application. I hope from what I've explained as to what it is, and it's not taking away anything from the equestrian, because equestrian, if we were to build it, would just be a private single use. We spoke with the planning officer in charge, and he's asked us to submit further documentation to show there's no impact on the woodland where the track goes through to get to these houses. Again, that's already been pre-approved with the riding arena to take horse wagons, cars, trucks, 7 vehicles, fire engine, all that's been approved to drive through. So we just need to do a further impact assessment and introduce more biodiversity net gain. So we're proposing to plant more trees to enrich the hedgerow that's around this particular enclosed site, and bring in more of the sustainable element to the houses, which is already there in the application. But we're just waiting to see if the planning officer wants us to improve on that at all. So it is with planning. It is going to be a 50-50 decision because it's outside the boundary, but the way that we've pitched the application is policy compliant. I just wanted to share that with you because it was a bit of a worry when I heard some of the comments that didn't know where it was, or I do recognise you. I just want to make sure that it's clear what it was, and I know it's way out of on the fringe of your parish, just to be so there's plenty of clarity.
To be honest, I think Chris, I think if you hear that your decision, your kind of thoughts might have been a bit different.
My thoughts have changed already.
Yeah, because it's
I have read it, what you put out there,
seems very
all your
modest
statements.
build now.
And the fact it's so far away from the desired boundary, I think it's still unfair for us to make any choices.
Like for me,
So I'm
the
not
advice on
against
the other applicant, it really hurt when we heard millionaire mansions because
That's what it looks like.
it doesn't look like you are looking at the wrong place, because if they are millionaire mansions, half of Felton is full of millionaires, I guarantee you. It is not. It's 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom
The
house.
3D rendering does look impressive. I think the way it's drawn upwards and big, but it is only a 3-bedroom with 2 bedrooms.
Just bear in mind when we come to sell them, 20% discount.
Yes.
But we intend being there
It's
forever.
just painless, but that's what we have to do for the policy. Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Can I ask a question? Thank you for explaining, especially the bit about the affordable housing, because when I read the planning application on the portal, that didn't make any sense to me at all. But thank you for that.
Yeah.
2 questions. One is, are the adjustments you're being asked to make going to make a fundamental difference to what's already on the planning portal, or is that more or less?
What is asked for are over and not to change anything, but over and above to give more information that there will be no impact.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to do another tree report and have an impact assessment done on the trees. It's the piece that's being questioned is the track that goes through the woodland, even though that already has full planning consent to drive cars and horse wagons through it.
Correct.
Because this is a new application, it has to be taken on its merits, and it's utilising this track that hasn't yet been constructed, so we have to give that extra bit of information.
Yeah. And my other question was, the equestrian centre, is that owned by you, or would that be owned by you if it was built?
So David originally owned all of that land, which was the Swan and Equestrian Centre, and then a big chunk of that land was sold off to Cussons. They've built the 26 new Cussons houses, and then the rest of that land with the house and the surrounding fields is still called the Equestrian Centre, and that's owned by somebody else, not part of this application at all.
Right.
He's in full support of this because he doesn't want to ride the arena next door to his to his property. It's right next door to his house.
Thank you. You should take some encouragement from the fact that planning committees and planning officers will look at the advice they get from parish councils, but they're not bound. Having been through that exercise.
It was just really for clarity.
Yeah, no, it's
It's
really
an odd one, and it is, if you compare the two, and hopefully this comparison that we will get online in the next few weeks will show the advantages. At first, we couldn't use the equestrian centre planning permission because it's not yet built.
Yeah.
However, the planning officer is saying, you've got consent, so do a comparison with what it is that we will have to build all the two houses.
That's good.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Will this be discussed any more tonight, or? I know, is it further on the agenda?
We don't normally even discuss it, do we? We sort of,
Next week we'll bring it up.
the clerk circulates details, we look at the planning application, we return any comments to.
I mean, has anybody got any other concerns after this report is concerned?
I can withdraw that.
I don't think we need to.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that. That's great. Okay, thank you very much.
We'll go for the final.
Thank you very much. Take me careful. Thank
Good
you.
luck with it.
Any other public questions? No. Okay, going on then.
And it goes with goals, it's on the
Chamber, I can bring your name forward if you wish. You look a bit tired.
I'm not feeling the best, but
No,
that's very kind. So, my county council report, sort of,
Trevor,
yes,
can you just move your chair so we can all see you?
fine.
this way, into the circle, towards Adam.
Thank you very much.
So yes, sort of slightly larger county council issues, affecting the area. We're making progress on the cobbles at Alnwick. As you know, in our market town, we've had a few attempts to sort of patch them up over the years, but really the time has come now to do a major overhaul on those cobbles and make a really good job of it. Alnwick, yes. There've been, accidents in the past.
They are pretty dangerous.
Are we going to lose them though? We're not going to lose them.
You're not going to lose them, no. They're going to be refurbished, maintained, and hopefully we're going to make a really good job. So work on that is progressing well, and we think we've almost got the money to do it. Advanced Northumberland has got a new chief executive. No scandal at all. The present chief executive has just decided to move on. He's not leaving for any other reason than he's going to a new job. So we're looking for a new chief executive.
For the entire county council?
No, this is just for Advanced Northumberland,
Oh,
our sort of subsidiary.
Building division or whatever, is it?
Yeah.
Building division.
Third item I wanted to mention on bigger issues were the budget. We're looking to save £30 million over 2 years. Again, we're going out to consultation over the next few months. As in the past, trying to protect frontline services, making sure that the money spent on local services, roads, grass cutting, and keep Northumberland tidy is maintained. We're reaffirming our sort of green initiatives, climate change, and focusing on the environment, spending a lot more money on parks, open spaces, making some more nature trails, and spending more money on litter picking on the major roads. The devolution deal, as most of you know, we did have the North of Tyne Authority with 3 county councils sort of feeding into that. Northumberland, North Tyneside and Newcastle, and now it's going to be the LA7 with all those northern county councils under one hat. So that's progressing well, and you know, we're also going to have a new mayor. Well, maybe not a new mayor, might be an existing mayor, but there will be a mayoral election as well. Just wanted to say a tiny few words about the stalemate we seem to be in over British Vote. As most of you know, that company went bankrupt. There was a company called Catch which had a charge on the land, £10 million charge, and Ernst & Young were the approved company that were dealing with that administration. They sold some assets to Recharge, this Australian renewable energy company, a chap called Dave Collard. And of course, we all hoped that he would come up with the money to carry through that project, but the balance of those monies is still outstanding, and you know, we the County Council think it's unlikely that those monies will come good. And you know, it's most unfortunate because obviously we did have this desire to form this renewable energy centre there, creating lots of jobs. We were very excited when British Folk got permission, but we're still in a stalemate on that. The Northern Line, this is the new railway down from Ashington to Newcastle. Hopefully opening, or we think it's going to open in 2024, next year. It is a little bit behind schedule, but obviously, you know, we're building the railway stations at the moment, and the major hold-up has been that the construction company is struggling to get materials. But again, you know, trying to get people off our roads and onto a passenger line is a, you know, great goal, and we're still very hopeful that we're going to meet that deadline.
I saw we started recruiting for staff because it popped up the other day when I was online.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, hopes,
No,
good side.
I'm not looking at me. I'm just saying that obviously it's progressing because we're now recruiting for conductors.
Just
Trained conductor, thank you.
a little more local. Obviously, the planning is in for the new surgery now. Very exciting for Felton. We've waited a long time for this. So I just thought I would speak to our planning officer this morning, John Sharp. He's dealing with the application. He still hasn't been out on site yet to put up the site notice, but he was telling me things are progressing well. He was asking me if I thought it needed to go to committee. I said, well, at this stage, you know, we don't really know who's going to support and who's going to object, but I very much hope that the officers might be able to deal with this in-house, because it's going to be a great facility for Felton, and really we'd all like to see it, you know, come to fruition. We've been waiting a long time for it. And he was saying initially, you know, all they've had so far are some comments about highways, the access. One or two people don't like the fact that the access would be from Robson Way rather than on that initial entry. But I think the main reason why the access isn't on that first piece of road is because it's too close to the main road. You know, there could be accidents there. But you know, we'll just have to wait and see. You know what is said, but again, he says the planning authority, you know, we tend to be supportive of community facilities. So, you know, I feel that was encouraging.
It's a neutral comment as well, rather than an objection, which was good.
What else? Flooding in Felton, obviously, you know, 20th of October, the river level in the River Coker was extremely high and burst its banks in a couple of places. And, you know, we can all put anti-flood measures in position, but sometimes you just cannot control what Mother Nature does or the weather does. But, you know, I know slightly different situation down in Morpeth, where you've got potentially, you know, thousands of houses being flooded by the River Wansbeck. But, you know, the Environment Agency there came up with this solution of flooding the land up at Melton Park, and you know that seemed to be working. I know again it was very, very close in Morpeth. The River Wansbeck was very, very high, but you know I'm going to suggest to the Environment Agency that we look, you know, higher up the Coker and maybe explore the possibility of, you know, flooding some land, you know, up at Thornton or Pepperhalf, where you know, we could do a little bit more there because, you know, yes, not a lot of houses were flooding, but it's still very unfortunate. Nobody wants, you know, the house to be flooded. And the only other thing was that, you know, a comment on the County Council boundaries. Very, very sad that it looks as though I'm going to be losing Felton. Largely due to the fact that Long Fram has grown so much, you know, never ever wanted to lose Felton. That, you know, being here for 30 years, really enjoyed trying to sort of bat for the area, care about the area. So, you know, it's not my wish, and obviously I sent in objections to the body saying that, you know, I would rather keep the seat as it was, but you know, I don't think that's going to be possible. It's mainly due to the fact that Long Fram has grown such a lot that they feel I've got too many voters. So it's great sadness, and it looks as though you will be represented by Glenn Sanderson.
Will that be after the next, not 2025 then?
That'll be 2025, yes, that will work.
And you're not quitting your other job anytime soon?
I'm not quitting my other job. And you know, to be honest, since I've come to the Northumberland Arms, you know, you're so much more au fait and on the spot with things that are happening. It's marvellous because people come to the pub and vent off, and it's much better. It is, you know, it's what you want to hear. You want to be on the spot. You want to hear local concerns. And no, I love Felton all the more since I've been down here at the Northumberland Arms. So you know, I'll be really sad to lose it, but you know, I'll be still batting for Felton. Any questions you would like to ask me?
You could always move to Felton and come on the Parish Council,
Oh,
or stand for election. Have we got the fence sorted
Yes.
between highways and
Yes.
byways?
Somebody fixed it.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
that's after.
Brilliant.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
And then, then give them a little nudge for the white one as well, so.
Okay.
they do
Yeah.
that.
Any South View progress?
Coping stones put down with no more nails about driblets.
Children.
Did you see that one?
The
In Southview, the council sent someone out to replace the coping stones and put it down with effectively no more nails to secure it in place.
Pudge.
Yeah, which again naturally didn't work, so you're putting it in
Cold weather.
wet and cold conditions and with a product that isn't designed for that.
How long did that take?
Thank you very much, Councillor.
Cheers.
Right, move on to minutes. Approver's record, Rona, we have to just approve all three at once, or is there any comments on any of them? Okay. So put it to a vote to approve the minutes and items 4A, B and C. All good. Right. I to receive and answer summary of budget entering to get the 1st of October.
Oh, we've got classes now.
I really quite picked up when I remember.
Did it work? And then it's going to get right.
Looks kind of intelligent on them as well.
I've got these glasses, and I only need them for, well, when I was getting a screenshot, which is how I used the first time I've used them on. These are really good. I cannot look at anything else unless it's like this. Right? Occasionally.
Oh, it's just joking around, sorry, you can't see it on. It's gone.
Is everyone happy with that? Any comments? No.
The allotment fees
Yeah.
can seem to come in very slowly. With there not being very much money in the should we give them a nudge to try and get money in there?
Do they have a sort of payment plan, or is it
It's
just a one-off?
it's just a one-off, because it's so little. Then they said we were gonna look at what budgeting, because Alan particularly has suggested that he doesn't like the layout of the current, financial reports. Some of you've been on the I don't know if anybody's been on the council. We used to have the old, much simpler version, and then stuff got gradually added in. Now it is quite complicated, so it's just a question of what people want to be told on a monthly basis at this meeting in terms of finances. Do you just want to, what's left? Do you want it as simple as what's left in the pot, or do you want to, we can simplify it as much?
I'm used to this as part of getting my head around it.
If people are happy with it, that's fine. I was just going to be suggested that we could change it.
Who wanted to change it?
Alan.
Yes,
I think-
He is advocating a move away from Excel, and then it would produce a report on this software. He is championing a particular software. I'm very happy with my Excel documents, so I'm kind of reluctant to change unless there's a need to, because I think it does everything that it needs to do.
Unless Alan is going to take some goal with finance and things and actually using it on a month
But
basis.
he's doing that. But
Right.
he can use his, the thing that also worked quite well the last couple, so he's done the bank reconciliation twice now, so to the end of June and the end of September, and he's used his as almost a double checking method, because then obviously just throw up any questions that he's got, he's like, oh, why does my number not match yours, and then we can find out. And it's,
Well, that's quite nice.
so in some ways it's been quite good running two systems, so I'm happy for him to continue with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Alan was to demonstrate what it is he's trying to communicate with us so that we can actually see it in the flesh, then
Yeah.
I'd consider it more of things, but it's you that's doing it, and I think
I
it
agree.
seems you're often safer with what you're used to rather than trying to use something that's might not necessarily be better because you don't have the confidence in using it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what my concern is, that what how the output will be formatted and how that can be presented, you know, how can it be saved to the website at the end of the year, for example, whereas at the moment I just PDF the whole cash book
I
and
mean,
it's there.
usually those things do
Yeah.
transfer, you know, you can download them as a spreadsheet that you can then PDF or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's just, sometimes it's cumbersome.
So if everybody's happy with the information they're getting at the moment, that's fine.
Are you going to ask whether he would be willing to do a parallel
Yeah.
presentation
Yeah.
for the same
Put
period?
something together.
Even
Yeah.
if it's just emailed out, just
Yeah.
this is what you get from this.
Does that
this is
that
that.
would
Well,
be
we could do it to,
helpful?
as I say, he's done it to the
It's done
30th of
1%.
September, so we could look at the September ones and just together and see
Yeah.
what like. So I'll get him to email around.
Actually, we're on to item C now.
Yeah, I've got, so just the staff information while we're waiting for PAYE, that's for a couple of months, which is why the high figure.
1934.
Yeah.
Okay. Any comments?
Can you tell me what Gladstone? Oh, that's
So that's the new bin.
New bin.
So we've got a double bin.
I've seen the new men.
They're really lovely.
Beautiful.
That's at Hill Rise.
And
And it's the new one.
with their flooded there.
And has the old one gone, the one that
It's
was
the-
at Hill Rise is at Pilgrim
yeah,
Park. So we've put a double, so there's a double bin outside Hill Rise stores now. And then the single bin was there, gone up to Pilgrim Park where they were having the overflow issues with the dog bin.
What do you think? What's the shop said? Ben?
That should be like that.
Excellent. We've had less litter.
I think a lot of big difference.
It was blown off the top because it was so full, it was just blown straight
Yeah.
in.
I did notice that the poo bin on the new road loop at the corner there was,
Behind that.
yeah, Windy Gap one was completely stacked high with bags the other day, but then it was resolved the next day when
That's
it was
where they miss it. It seems to be where
I
they
think
miss
there
it.
was-
The collection sometimes.
The other week when we had the Friday, flooding on Friday night, Friday, Saturday,
Oh, right.
I'm assuming the council redistributed all their people to do
Right,
different
yeah.
things, because the one in Coquette was the same, but by
Yeah.
the Monday it had been empty
Yeah.
and stuff, so it was just a thing.
But it's not an ongoing issue, is it?
Yeah, no, we just,
Well, it has happened before. This is one of the ones where we're looking at maybe putting a different.
yeah, we can hopefully,
or a
well, we've got
bigger
the other bin up there, and so there's two up at the
Yeah.
entrance to Coquette, and we're hoping to try and then put one in halfway around the loop, subject to landowners' permissions.
one. So in progress.
If they're driving around that way anyway.
So more
Yeah,
bins,
that's it.
more bins in progress.
Excellent. And I have to say that every time I'm going to look at these new bins, generally it's filling with joy, the image of the installation team going around,
Yeah.
joy on their
Did you see
faces.
this bit?
Over the top.
John went round with his quad bike and his trailer to take the bins round, because it was really quite heavy. I mean, I was surprised, yeah. You should have seen them lifting it onto the trailer.
Well, that one up there, the bin surround was heavy. You think about it, and it's not a proper bin.
That the one outside the shop was extremely heavy,
Because it's got a weighted bottom.
which is not
It
really.
was a baby bottom.
It's got a weighted bottom
Yeah.
to stop it going away.
Yeah.
I floated away in the flood.
Any other comments on the payments? Happy to approve?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
That's it.
Item 6, yeah. That's a good one. Did you make any initial thing? Did you drop down at all?
Did I do that?
When you were talking about invoices?
Oh, no, I haven't yet, no. Because I thought it would,
We'll do it.
yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. Because I thought otherwise people don't get to see what they're used to. So yeah, so one of the recommendations, sorry, what Adam and I just discussed now, when we were going through it as the finance committee, we felt that there were some funds which overlapped or kind of duplicated work. So we're suggesting a couple of, merging a couple of funds. For example, all the rec ones could be simplified into really a couple.
Yeah.
And things like that. But I haven't done that on the one that's sent round, because what I'll do is, if it's agreed, I will then merge those funds and add the two amounts together, just to make it so that it was clear on here what we were talking about. So maybe I'll have a copy.
Chris?
Can you see it from up there?
And for those who haven't had the joy of sitting through the meeting, we do go through it line by line. It's very fun, isn't it?
Meeting to go to it for any of these questions next year.
Yeah, no, it is quite good.
Send out our money first, will you?
Will do.
And then just so, we've obviously, how we work it is we go through all of the lines of expenditure and work out what we would like to spend. We then take off what income we're expecting, and then that leaves us with a gap, which is what we need to ask for precept. Now, the precept before last year was at just under 33,000. So we're looking at one just under 37 this year, and we're thinking that if it had been for the increase last year, we would have been gradually increasing anyway in line with inflation. So we're kind of back to where we would have been in that kind of general increase.
Yeah, but it's also then a significant drop from what
It's a
last year's
drop from last year.
precept was. Which was being this year at least.
It's a bit of good news to pass on, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And we're still, as I say, we're still keeping in, aren't actually keeping ourselves low, but it would be a problem for ourselves going forward. We are gradually increasing from where we were.
Have we got anywhere since the finance committee meeting with the surveyor's costs to do with the surgery that seem to have got stuck in limbo somewhere?
Really nice question.
Are we're assuming we will have to pay it, but it looks increasingly that we won't, if they don't put a bill in.
Yeah, I mean, they did, and then if you remember, we went back and asked for more detail, and I think we got given a kind of standard answer that they couldn't provide any more than they'd already provided, and then there's been a sort of, they haven't chased again since then, I don't think.
It was just about the stalemate.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Okay.
Give them a nudge for that information, just say that.
Maybe we'll just do the call or something, and
Yeah.
just see if we can find a way forward. It might be that we could. Yeah.
Anything else? Any comments on it? Or happy to put it to a vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we put it up.
Yeah.
I'm in favour.
And then out of the meeting was that we bring the PAYE, which is, so every month we're submitting PAYE data to the HMRC. We took that out of, we contracted that out to bring a degree of separation. However, really it's just an extra administrative step without really adding the independence that we're looking for, because obviously I still have to pass the numbers to her and then she's just inputting them. So really we're just adding a level of admin. It's taking their time to get the data back. What we suggested, and I have checked with Alan, we suggested that to make sure that there is that checks and balances, we can obviously print out the PAYE submission data and that can be checked against the numbers that we provided. So Alan's happy to just add that onto his bank reconciliation checks to say that he's seen that the data has been submitted on time and it matched what I reported to the council.
So the plan on that is just to
And it'll save us
take the sale out and then speed up the payments a little.
So That was so
Let's go back.
Yeah.
The rec lane maintenance and upkeep, is that
Yeah.
the same thing?
well, maintenance, so it always used to be that there was a pot for maintenance, which was intended, I think, for
I think
like the surf,
Oh,
you needed to resurface it, sort of
I
long
think that's
term.
one that we did talk about merging, didn't you?
Yeah, we did talk about merging it, putting it into one, because it was originally, I think, a maintenance fund for repairs, and then, you know, your general, like your hedge cutting or.
There was a notorious period when one resident was contributing to the maintenance fund, and none of the other residents were, I seem to remember. They produced chapter and verse to anybody who's interested. It's all in the accounts. So I think that Family Evans have made a contribution to the maintenance fund.
Well, we're going to hopefully
And
merge it.
we still haven't built a house.
But I did say that that's one of the things we've put into the budget this year. I think we should start building a little pot of money, because at some point we will need to do tarmac repairs. You know, once it gets to a certain size, we can just leave it. We don't have to add every year. It wouldn't be a bad thing to put a little bit away.
But it would also be worth considering whether people who are now legally able to drive their vehicles up and down the lane might.
Sorry, as a resident,
Yeah.
I'm going to be told
Well, anyways.
it's not legal for you.
All right. Well, that's.
So let's take that one off the table.
But anyway, the bottom line is the key set requirement will be £36,867.
Purposely to nice round number, really. That's part of the discussions.
Yeah, we had to put 47 pence into the general reserves budget to get around it, but
Is that authorised?
Yes.
county council require a whole pound amount.
So,
So there we have, yeah, that's it.
items simply.
Well, we've already talked about
Oh, we
management
did, yeah.
categories, yeah, preset. They don't
We
have
did.
that.
Okay. Item 7. Later installation grant.
Yeah, so this came out again for, was this the finance
Finance
committee?
committee, yeah.
About, yeah. And then as it happened, by complete chance, I saw, got an email through saying that there was these grants available, so it's first come, first served, so we may, in theory, already have missed the boat, depends how many applications they get, how fast people are, or we may not. They didn't seem to have any criteria, specific criteria about how they're going to prioritise applications, so it might be that they get places. Anyway, what I'm saying is it might not be successful, but there's an opportunity to put in a grant application. What they're saying is they're going to fully fund 100 DFIDs, and then they're going to part fund a further number. If you are ready to do part funding of £750, then you can proceed now, because they're basically saying they'll start assessing all the applications, but you might not be in that needy 100 free places. So it's, there's sort of two questions. The first question is, are you happy? Do you want to go down that route? And if so, do you want to wait and see if we could get 100%, or do you want to just go in now with a 50% contribution? We would also have to pay installation costs.
Did you say that the criteria for 100% was
It didn't.
essentially they didn't have
It
it?
didn't say. It just
Oh.
said first come, first served. As
Oh,
to grants available, and it didn't say how we would decide who got the 100%
Okay.
funding. Not that I could see, but
It has to be, yes, because we have one in the village already, you would be less likely to get approval on a
Have we just got
100%.
one, have we?
We've got one here, and then West First and have one up
they've got
next
the
to
top.
Buckingham.
But we've not got one down
No,
there.
I
No, that's a good
Yeah.
It's a long way to the village hall, to
Well,
the
to
hill.
run up the hill to get the one put.
I don't know if
You
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 can use that.
Somebody else in the
I don't know if you would be considered close enough to be sent to it, to be honest. No?
They used to be.
Yeah. Did they?
There's not one at the Running Fox.
No.
No.
They used to be.
So this is what we were
I mean,
saying.
I'm not sure I like the idea of putting one in the red phone box.
Just for information, the one that's here used to be Running Fox, but the Running Fox refused to carry on using electricity. That's why it's moved to
Oh,
here.
right.
So you need to think about where you're going to put it and whose permission you're going to get to run it.
There was
Yeah, that's obviously something we'll take into
Yeah.
consideration.
But I think the Northumberland Arts had said at one point that they would be willing to have one. It's just, I know that's outside our parish, so we would have to
Yeah.
pass
I
it.
mean, I would say that the two that we've got in Felton and Thurston, they are not going to save a life you know, based on their locality at the moment. If we can get another one based on 100%, then I think we should push for it. How much are they?
So we would have to, so it's about, it must be 1,500 because they're saying that a 50% contribution will be 750.
750 plus install.
And then
so
we
you
would
could
also have to
see-
pay to install.
And
Even
then
if
we
you say
have to have some
250
revenue
install,
going.
just
Yeah.
Is anybody aware of these being mounted on lampposts or anything like that? Ready source of electricity, which we all pay for.
yeah. Again,
The other thing you need to check, I think the other reason that's an issue at the Running Fox is phone signal, because it needs a signal to,
okay.
you know, for people down there, and I know it is limited down there, so it's something else you need to consider.
You need to be hardwired or wireless.
They're hardwired in, aren't they? But I think
Yeah,
it's like
they're
COVID,
in.
it's people getting access.
It's need to be able to ring, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
But then during the day, you could ring from the Fox, or from the, or, you know, you could use your business in the daytime if you didn't have mobile signal.
It's more about the middle of the village and phone signal, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
eventually
Yeah, so
you're
like,
shopping,
literally,
yeah.
I can't get phone signal if I'm sat in my car outside my house until I've got into my house. But I know, so we can inquire with the
But it
gallery.
depends on then the network and stuff like that. There's a gallery, even then I think, in my opinion, it needs to be down at that point.
Yeah, I think it
Fox's
needs to
den
be,
locations
yeah.
and thing.
There is a transmitter, on transmitter going on the electric pole outside the, so.
Sorry, the saying the places that you're talking about aren't open all of the time, they're limited. That was why they decided, one of the other reasons why they decided to move.
Okay, thank you for that. Sorry, what were you saying, John?
This village hall isn't open all the time, it's on the outside of the building. That's what we're talking about, is one
Yeah, I think we were
extended, so
talking
there's
about the
24
ones down in the
access.
bottom of the village, there was difficulty with the signal, so the rest of the Running Fox is not open all of the time, as you were saying about the gallery, that's not open all of the time. So that was one of the things that they considered and why they moved it, so.
Just the hardware.
But I think we have to say, phone signal, I guess, is improving all the time. If you're making an emergency call, you're allowed to piggyback from the network, so we're hoping that, I think there is better, like you say, rather than the middle where the galleries are just where.
I think it's more that central bit than else, I think is the worst phone signal than down, yeah.
Don't get signal down, please.
No,
The battery at the back, like this,
I would class you as maybe more that blanket in the middle of the village that's the black spot.
There's power on this going, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, there's the power box down there, isn't it? So we could look at something like that, but we've got to take into account listed structures. I mean, I would happily volunteer my house. I've got a nice little bay next to my steps where it would go lovely. However, I'm a listed building and the likelihood of it, you know, it's
But we can look into if there's lamppost ones or there's different options, I'm sure.
yeah, if we can get a criteria for where it needs to go, and then re-inquire. I mean, the thing is though, the Running Fox obviously it is the you know, would be the ideal place, and we can always ask them if they would reconsider.
How long ago did it get removed?
We were set in the alarm off.
Oh right. We're not good at
Electric
power
or
box.
feed it on the power.
Yeah, well that's
Because there is a pole next to the power box that had an electric wire up. So could it go on the pole that comes up next to the power box?
And I've seen them in just little houses like that before, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we kind of try to regenerate that little strip there, it could be something that could go into that.
Is it just on the wall?
It's on the wall, yeah.
On the stone, or just like a garden.
It's mounted on, I think it's mounted on the stone wall, isn't it? So that was one of the.
It's not even on, it's not that it's the side of the building, it's on the actual stone wall.
Yeah, it's on the actual, stone wall, because some people say that it was blocking visibility for coming out of that little junction from the houses next to Pumpkin, but,
So there's options, isn't there? So
yeah, let's see what their criteria for installation, what it has to go on. But I think we should.
I think we should go down the route of we'll happy cover 50%, but plus the install. If that gets a guaranteed go ahead, that we have suitable locations then. Would be mine. Cool.
So you basically saying we would approve spending £750 going for the 50% grant if we can find a suitable location.
Yeah.
Would the install include a survey? They might be able to do a survey.
I think we have to arrange that ourselves because it's like we would just write them.
did they get wired, like hardwired into a phone line?
I doubt it because hardwires have been abandoned.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they are because there's no, that's not connected at all. That doesn't
It's
talk to
self
the
powered
others.
for 5 years or something.
That doesn't talk to the system like that. You know, you have to do the checks and then somebody has to upload the check onto the circuit database. Like, it's not talking to anything. I think they can tell if it comes offline. Like, they get told if it's being used. The ambulance services then gave out the code, but that's it's the ambulance service saying it rather than the machine talking to anything.
So this is might not work at the Royal Fox. The distribution board that we put is just behind the door, so it would only be a little bit closer to the pump door.
With them.
Yeah, but the distribution boards that are behind the door, so an installation would be relatively straightforward.
To get a cable to the outside, yeah.
But obviously, I have to talk to the person who runs the building.
Yeah.
And you know, and the Royal Fox, because they asked for it to be moved and then comes back tonight. There might be other reasons. But I
So we've
think
got
that's
a couple of locations.
We'll just get on the railings down there.
I was just thinking that. Do you know the white railings?
A couple of proper brackets on the back of it onto the railing, onto the white railings, yeah. Where all your kegs are,
My favourite.
with the kegs on the railings.
It's ornaments.
Ornaments, can we have plants growing at the top of it?
I was hoping the crack.
Right beside the weather protection with smokers as well.
Well, if we're going to go for a 50% grant, we should go for that, subject to suitable.
So, we're happy to agree that we go for a 50% grant subject to a suitable location and installation.
And I think there's a PowerPoint. I might be totally making this up, but if you walk past the Royal Fox on the Riverside, is there a green box there? Is that power up on GT?
The end of the bridge? How?
No,
It's
on the
still
side of the
beside-
road,
still beside- sorry, no, if you're walking down Main Street heading on the Riverside, as you go around past the Royal Fox, is there not another electric point there?
What?
Like
Just
a
past the
GT?
log window, like in the.
Yeah.
We made
Some
some case
case.
to find out what the
Yeah.
required, so I don't think we need power.
Yeah.
Is the battery? Yeah, I think it's the power that it's the house. It's like because they usually have a light on them. That's what the power's for. I think.
I'm sure
Red
that
battery.
And there must be ways around that.
Yeah, I think the battery been a lot.
Why is the full box a definite no?
It's not.
It's not. I personally like the idea of keeping it as an information box and what it is at the moment. If there wasn't another option for it, then yeah, I would do it. But I would like to look at alternatives as well.
Yeah.
So,
You could maybe fit both.
and you could do it. Yeah.
Okay,
But then it also depends on making sure that nobody bats the lights from the Christmas tree around the phone box.
And then needs to fall.
And then there's the phone when they fall.
Yeah, okay.
We haven't put a star on the top ever since.
So, code policy to approve code of conduct amended to paragraph 15.
Yeah, so I just, yeah. So where we've got is now, we had appendix A and appendix B, and then we've now got this appendix C, which just sets out a financial interest of a friend, relative or closely associated with an interest. That used to be just like hidden away in the middle of it, so we've just taken it, we talked about moving it out to make it very obvious that it does count and that people need to pay attention to it.
Is that the way one word?
That's how it was worded previously in the paragraph.
So I think the word is slightly different on it. We talked about it last time, I think, about having a tender document, having a tender, but really, no, the next
Oh,
question.
this is,
the
yes,
next question.
sorry, no, this is for the tender document, this is our code of conduct.
Yeah, I know that,
Oh.
but I'm just saying, is that as clear as it can be? Yeah,
I think it's fairly clear.
And is it only a financial interest that we're talking about as well? Because there are other.
Should you say, please note, or please record any?
It does up here, so basically what we have is we've got, sorry, close your eyes please, get seasick. So So what we used to have is it said where, you know, if you've got an appendix A interest, you have to do this. If you've got a B interest, you've got to do this. And then it had a paragraph which just said, you should also declare these interests, and it was sort of like, so now it's got its own separate paragraph.
Right, okay.
So it's just going to match the other two types of interests. So for Appendix C, it says that you can speak, you know, shall disclose, may speak if you're public allowed to speak, won't vote.
Is there a reason why it's financial interest rather than pecuniary, which I think was the legal term? Because that could imply land ownership or lots of other things that aren't strictly financial. Or it could even be an interest where you can influence.
I mean, it could just be like, it could say pecuniary, because then that would tie back into Appendix A.
Yeah, pecuniary would cover.
But then Appendix A should technically called pecuniary.
No, that's for yourself.
For yourself.
And you have to leave the room if you've got an Appendix A interest, whereas if it's a friend, you're allowed to stay, but you have to just leave
yeah,
it.
fair enough.
So change it to pecuniary?
Do you want to read out what the new proposed wording is?
It'll just say pecuniary interest of a friend, relative, or close associate other than an interest in the business.
Are we happy with that? Yeah. Okay. To review the Parish Council's arrangement for Felton meetings and to agree whether to continue to Felton meetings.
This is what we said we would do a 6 month review of this.
Yeah.
Apparently 6 months.
Has it been 6 months already?
Apparently so. I wrote down it was November to review it. So.
Greg, would you mind stop talking, please?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Your pecuniary interest though is financial gain, and it might not necessarily be financial that you have an interest in.
I think that's what we've just covered, yeah. Thank you.
So we have to continue out in your time to continue.
I think it's still taking treatment things that we see,
Yeah, I think-
and I think it's important to maybe we should
Agree to another 6 months.
Yeah.
Review it at the May meeting.
And I'm wondering whether we should put the bylaw in, some of the bylaw in, because, you know, obviously the line
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
for example, tonight, it's not here, we've got to do it.
Okay, so we'll take, we to extend it to the May meeting.
They just said there was nothing of wide community interest or unusual.
No, I told on the 16th. But no, it was supposed to be last week, but because so many people were away, we moved it to next.
Minutes.
Oh, sorry, just while we're on meetings, I just, the village hall, after we spent a large amount of time at the last meeting discussing the date of our next parish meeting, the main hall is booked on the 18th. It was just not on the diary, because it's a larger standing meeting, but this room is already booked for us for Redfield, it's January, so it won't be very much nice to just have a parish meeting here rather than trying to find another date.
Might be nice and warm.
Yeah.
I thought it was still good. Facilities for tea. So, okay.
I don't think I can get there finding another dates.
Yeah. Last meeting.
You just now need to find another date for the breakfast.
Well, January, we don't tend to have much to say, so we have an extra one if we need to.
back there.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think the person that brought it and gave it wasn't here to install it, and they installed it closer rather than further away. But I'll mention it again.
Committees and working groups, sheet minutes, reports, contract fielding.
We did have that, but we just don't we? We have got this, but we've got a couple of recommendations out of it, which is quite version.
Yes.
We had a cemetery meeting, which largely covered arrangements for the remembrance service on the 12th. And the sort of plea that everybody was notified that to be there for 10:30, ready for a 10:45 start, so that it didn't end up being late. And then just other bits and pieces, like we were gonna have a paper, we were gonna have a viewer and stuff like that. And we agreed the quote everything to the parishes, the budget. And there's something else, and I can't remember what it is, because I've written it on a separate piece of paper. Got it with me. Liaison and I had a meeting with the vicar and got it all sorted out, and the sheets for the service have been duly amended, so they don't say the Queen anymore, they just say, oh. So we've got all those, they're all done and printed, they just need to be trimmed now. So I think that's everything.
Just out of interest, do we have a flood contingency for if that whole area?
Yeah, we just thought they had
Just
this.
that's why. We've got a great closure for the number of people who think, I just
Brett Rich is nice and tall, he can stand in the flooding.
You can get everything in toss it so you can get it on the wall. Sorry, that's very frivolous of me.
But we've had the War Memorial sorted, so the cleaning and the repairs happening with Nelson Memorials, that's finished, the 2 benches down there.
Yes, thank you guys, those benches are great.
Should we have a seat on top?
No, I haven't.
Oh, the roof, I think.
They look too nice.
But they're a bit higher, so which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
You know,
Can you see over the head though?
you can,
They're
but
very,
I think
they're
just,
very heavy.
They're not gonna wash away then.
That'd be worth lowering the height.
yeah, and it would work just, I don't know, 3 inches down or something, because it'll then soon shoot back up during the growing season. Anyway,
But I went past this morning, the WI, all of the beautiful poppies out, and it
They look great.
absolutely beautiful this morning, yeah.
And have they got the plants in the new, in the planters?
yes, or some.
Yeah, nice.
It's just the plants people disappear.
Did you decide that you're applying with
I think we've already got one organised.
Move on to, I think, to agree the recommendation of the committee to appoint men who will clean, stabilise and maintain the town cabin on a surface cost of £8,370 plus that, and for the contract working group to prepare simple document regarding the works between Parish Council and Redden Court. Do you say you're giving any information on that, or?
Probably the things we do need to know before we can develop a contract is what colours and what things we do. Because there's no specification of colours yet for which colours are going to be bought and what colour lines.
Is there a snap, is there like a kind of,
You can have many colours.
Selection different colours, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, 2 colours or 3 colours.
Effectively, you've got on the quote, there's 3 lots of lines. I think it's 5-a-side football, tennis and basketball. And then the court itself paints so much. I think the tennis court gets a certain colour and then the surround gets a different colour. So it's thinking about what colours you would prefer.
This is not standard it's,
I mean,
unfortunately,
it's not standardised.
I would have thought it would have been like tentacles were always this colour. I don't suppose
I
that
don't know
was
what
really-
colour it was originally, I know there was a bit of blue in there,
I
so
don't
there
suppose it matters.
was
Does it?
a bit of that.
I would let the experts choose the colours.
Yeah. To ask whatever it was.
Greg and Fiona, what colour do you want for tennis?
I can't remember what they got at Sworden, but that works when Colin and I play it now.
Green and small.
Green,
Yeah.
sorry, reddish,
But later
brown edge.
It's not the
I
council.
think so, yes.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah, it's the
So
same
you
thing,
can just
just
ask them
for
to do the same markings as he's done up there then, because he did that.
Well, the markings are our decision. It's the colours that we picked.
Yeah.
It would be handy to get all, as you mentioned, the basketball, football and tennis stuff.
Yeah.
Got goals and, you know, and that's
And that is what it gets used for.
predominantly, yeah.
Well, that's what's in the quote, the 3 lots of lines anyway, so I mean, that's the intention, that we get those marked out, and we'll have to specify what colours we want those marked in. So tennis will probably be white, and then it'll be yellow for basketball and red for football.
So can I just ask, will we have some tennis nets so we can actually play tennis on if we're playing in the tennis court?
Imaginary nets. Just picture that, right?
We have talked about it, yes.
We have talked about it, yeah. It's just looking at a facility where I'm going to get say it's probably going to be more used for football and basketball than tennis, just then a storage facility for nets or a solution where we can have it sort of drag out from the side or something like that.
Would you say, if you're not going to do tennis, then would you say, well, you're not to want to paint the tennis field?
Well, no, we're not saying that. As I said,
I would
looking
like
at alternative solutions, whether it's a retractable one that
Right.
can swing around like a gate or something like that, or a net that
To make it
doesn't
easy, because I think they did used to have nets, but they got so tangled with people taking them down badly, and then they ended up, I just, the word, we got to put the word to see, but that's before.
The core painting includes 3 sets of lines, 3 different
Yeah.
colours. We're getting tennis put on there, we're getting tennis nets after that. But we don't need the nets before we've done the courts.
Yes, we need to get the court done first.
Yeah.
I don't, nobody cares about the colours, I think, what you like. Well, there you go, yeah. Just, I think.
Would you
just
think
not- it's
so?
not
It's
very
the
good.
artist in me, you see, that's just
It's wrong, because the red and green colour lines.
Can we delegate it to the contracts working group?
Yes.
It's hardly a
I
parish
think
council.
it may be worthwhile just looking at the current modern version of the nets and how they sit within the court, because you don't want to have the court disturbed once it's been painted.
Well, that's why we're saying we're looking at options which it
Well, I think-
retractable thing that will be attached to the edge of the court rather than into the ground or anything.
But that's
Well,
not,
nothing will be puncturing that surface.
I think that was the point really, was to actually do it in town, yes.
Yeah, no, the door, nothing will be poured into the surface at all. Once it's done, we don't want it.
And apparently, it's all of the things that came on that wall.
At the moment, people use it for football, basketball, or dog training.
Right, so contracts with the groups with the side colours.
Yeah, so we agree with the side colours, but we agree with the proposal of the rec fields. Great. Yep. Play area refurbishment. Consider the quote private long-term legislation of new character units and replacing junior study centre.
What would you say, picture, divide it?
I don't often know how it's all, right?
Oh, I know, it's really, so have you seen the picture? It is really nice.
Just think that you see all
I think it's just on my emails.
That's how many look at who it played.
I can't remember the picture.
Okay. Visualise it in your heads.
It was nice, it's like a big, oh, no. It's like a big poster, I've seen it on there. It's like a sort of 2 towers, it's got a lovely little tunnel with people keeping their, like little porthole for them to pick out of the area.
It's the one that got voted for 2 years ago.
Venom's not seen it.
I did
I did send it around on papers, yeah.
Okay. See, it's seen it. So,
So it is very expensive. We are going to have to go for ramps to
I think
try and purchase it.
the quote we did find money there where we could potentially save us by the mark ourselves.
Yeah, so he's quoted for everything, including the sort of surfacing, and obviously we can get certain, like, it's not cheap. He said himself that it's,
It's one area where he knows it's not cheap,
They
so
can't.
that's somewhere where we could potentially save money.
Kind of servicing like,
It was proposing play back basically, but there are other options that we could look at sort of thing as well. But if we were to redo that area in the whole, we could dig out when it's cleaned out properly and then put in gravel roads and that and put in the kind of urbanised part, which then you put the longevity of it a bit longer, basically.
did you not include removal of stuff as well, and the waste removal,
Yeah, there's a
Waste
lot of
removal.
taken out swings
which we
and
would be able to get cheap.
nets and things like that as well.
And then gave us sort of budgets for potentially the reinstallation of the witches hat, subject to permissions at the oval area on the grass area there,
Or move it across the top
or
of it.
removal across the other top of it. So we know what that cost would be as well, and they could carry it
So
at the
basically, I
same
think
time.
it's just almost like he's approval in principle that we're going to go down the route of potentially seeking to spend this much money by getting some grants in. We will probably have to get, compound was our preferred option so far, but we will have to get two updated quotes probably to go in for grant funding, because usually they like to see
As all these companies are individual and do individual products, it's very difficult to get like for like. You won't be able to get like for like, we'll just have to look at similar products.
If you get similar though, then it's the preferred option.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's just showing that we're not going to something that's ridiculous. You know, it's saying that these things are all in the same ballpark, really. And they you know, the grant companies know that, but
Do we have any other quotes?
we did have quotes, but the quotes, it was a bit difficult. It was kind of comparing apples and pears
Yeah.
because they'd all quoted for slightly different things. So Compound really had only quoted us for big tower unit and then the slide, whereas the others had done a bit more. They hadn't put any big units in, but they'd done more of a redesign, so it wasn't exactly comparable. But when we went to the fair, we did have 3 different tower units from 3 companies to quote.
Well, they were all from different companies.
So I think that's what I'm saying. We need to just update the quotes so that we've got a bit more of a like-for-like comparison, and then I mean, they might come back with something further. But basically, what we're saying is we'd like to go and seek grant funding for a large tower unit, probably what like Compound that we sent around by email, and replace the swing.
Did you ask people to vote at the fair?
Yes, we did. And it came out quite
And that one came out.
yeah, very popular.
It looks really nice.
It is nice.
I'm just a bit too old to have a go.
You're not,
Yeah.
no, I don't believe it's not going to
Never too old for play.
Just be careful, you'll get suspended use.
He did say they were adult friendly. So on
The one that got it wasn't the one.
we are looking.
It's like a bin that got stuck in something.
We're looking at the planning commission side of things. The initial response I got back from county council, which is going to double check it, is that as long as it's under 4 metres, it will count as it will come under permitted development for the parish council. Now, this unit isn't like 4.2 metres. He can provide it without its roof. We would get the roof separately and then put it on as and when we've got planning permission, or cross that bridge as we do it. So
Or dig down another 4 inches.
he was very exactly. He was very helpful. And he says there's ways, there's ways to deal with that. You don't need to hold the whole thing up because you put planning permission in. When you get it, you put your roof on, or if you don't get it, you don't put the roof on. You still do.
And just don't tighten up on the back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it was, I think it was helpful because it
nature trees.
And NCC, yeah, for a whole sort of revamp.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to go overall to spend money on as a district, which is absolutely hard.
Well, it's NCC, so we're still part of NCC regardless of who it.
And then this is why
We just,
I reckon sure all of them, but
this is why it is.
So,
But like,
yeah.
Final trumpet well.
yeah. Sorry?
oh, fabulous, wouldn't it?
It worked like a
It's a special
suspension bridge, like they have in the Himalayas. And wires bridges.
That is
That would be a good idea.
good, I agree.
So, do we need to talk to Glenn? If he's going to be our ward
Well, that's,
councillor?
I think if we're gonna move forward with that sort of thing from NCC, it would be a cap and balls to make sure, because, you know, persons do benefit from the referendum as well.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
you know, it's part and parcel of what they're proposing and make it better, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's an important, I mean, the river's a really important site itself, so, you know, they should be interested in it. And it's not as if it was just in a random field somewhere.
But I mean, all the sort of approach to get people fit and, you know, just sort of preventive medicine rather than.
Do the county council have,
Well-being and all that is all they have to find nature walks and
Yeah.
exercise and.
do you think the county council have people who design things like that?
Oh, probably.
Because that might be a way of, because somebody needs to come up with some
Yeah, but we said
creative.
that they're funding for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could do it all as a revamp of the rec field together as a proposal and get some money out of them, you
Yeah.
know, even part funding for
Can
some.
we get a request in
In fairness,
to NCC to say we want to do it as part of the rec field development, link it up with Thurston, build a bridge, and have you got a designer who can work with us?
So this is now a bridge project, is it? Okay, I will ask Trevor for his opinion. I think when they're talking about trying to save £30 million over 2 years, I think a non-essential bridge project like it, no one
Yeah,
thinks.
it's just like, I'll give you like a grand here and a grand there for this one, rather than, yeah.
But it's getting right at the start, isn't it?
Okay,
Start.
Start and some expertise, perhaps.
Yeah.
Extension bridge,
No problem. We get it built before the A1. Easy.
swiftly moving on. Tree works, I'm proposing we delegate this to the property management to review what the budget of 5,000. We've got 3 quotes in there on them, so it's just probably detail, have a look at the quotes in a bit more detail and then even what the size to confirm them. If that everyone's happy with that. Okay.
And we plant some trees that John's kindly
Oh, yes.
posting for us. It's just we need to think about getting them in at the right time, which is how we didn't get them in the last time and could be nicely posted by John for us. Because there are gaps.
And they'll still be substantial saplings rather than little twigs.
They're comically small.
Are they?
They are pretty difficult, the ones that we're doing it.
Well, we're talking about trees.
Yes.
What about that tree?
Oh, right. Yeah, so I spoke to the crematorium and they're still keen to donate a tree. But they said it would be such a shame for the trees that are planted on the site for the doctor's surgery to be cut down, that they would be willing to put a price in for like a day rate moving them all. And then it would, if there could be, if the trees stay where they are and be unaffected, that would probably be better. Because obviously there is a risk in moving trees, not killing them. But if they were to be sort of bulldozed, then I would suggest getting them shifted in. And as they're all the same species of trees, it would be nice if they're aligned.
How many costs?
I think it's 9 or 10.
So we only need 7 to survive the Jubilee. So it's a 7 years, 70 years.
Okay, so a tree a year, like that idea.
Well, yeah. And now is the time to.
And advertise some way as well.
So they want all of those trees taken off the surgery site and put onto the outside. We did identify a space where you could have a terrace of trees, which is quite nice. We'd have to do a bit more due diligence with services and stuff on the ground.
Yeah,
I think you should give us a sales chart.
I've got my sewage on water or something. I don't know if it's, I don't know what that'd be like. It's
You can get one
electric.
from the electricity board, they have them, yeah. Cool, find the people near you or something.
I think oddly Coquette Park's not NPG.
Must be.
No, it's some weird.
Not
Yeah, but I can't remember the name of
Scottish or
it.
something, I think, or something, but not MPG.
Yeah, because when this half of the village was having a power cut, we were fine up there because we were supplying separately. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sorry for some.
No, it's all next time, we'll all do it.
We get flooded and we have no electricity.
Or take
I
over the
don't know
floor.
what to do that is.
Okay, so check
But
services.
it's the sort of thing we should really have on it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Before we get back into the spring we can't.
Well, I asked them how much it would cost if we did go down the route of replacing the whole, removing the whole lot of trees. And it said somewhere in the region of about 180 quid for the day, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Conservatory will get some other prices.
So if that's a day rate, are we happy to approve on that basis?
yeah, happy on that day rate. That's
And the other side of the hedge room.
Oh, right.
But then,
Like a terrace.
all in a nice row with some black columns.
Need to vote that one again?
Are we checking with on the plans that those trees actually have to come out? We're checking with the.
I think
Well,
they
do
do all
have
of
to
the
come
car,
out?
a lot of them are in either
They're
car
right in the
park
middle of
or
the car park.
Right, okay, as long
I
as
think
that's
there's
the
only
case, yeah.
one in that small planted area.
And that'll be able to come out for construction anyway,
The
won't it?
bill, yeah.
Well, so
They'll not go around it, they'll just go over it.
the plan on retaining that planted area that is full of lovely dandelions and thistles. Wildflower, sorry.
Natural planting.
Pollinators.
I think it would be better just to do them all.
The thing is, though, for that rate, we can plan another one, we can gift one to the doctor's surgery afterwards,
What's the
so,
plan?
you know,
Yeah.
it's, for that much money, it's.
We've got some supplements that are about.
Yeah, they won't be ready by the time
It might be about this one, depending on it.
There was,
We need to vote on that. Let's get over with.
yeah, happy.
Yeah.
The strange thing the other day was, I was walking in my driveway as this van decided that it was heading out the footpath at the other side of where the doctor's surgery goes. You know, if
The
you
van tried to drive out.
it went out Robson Road and then out the footpath.
Did it get wrong?
Yeah. Look, it just disappeared behind the thing. I wasn't quick enough to get registration in that example.
That was.
Very
Maybe we
distinctive
need
van,
more.
mind you.
Because they're just.
That's it, it might be just worth something mentioning to the, I don't know, is all that land gone? Or just something?
There's a
No,
bit
because, but not, it's, you'd still
It's
got
quite
round, right?
wide.
It is
Like,
wide.
well, we got round, anyway, it disappeared, because there was another van going up, I think it goes in to Coquette Park instead of going in the one after.
When you move the planter up the bridge, the two
Yeah.
barrels, you can just stick one in there.
In the planter.
What's that?
Just one of the tubs.
Oh, yeah, one of them tubs.
One of those
Maybe.
tubs. the ones that you're moving off the bridge could just go.
That's going to happen imminently. We've been waiting on it being the right time for you for the lady who volunteers to do those ones. We were just, so we're just waiting for her to be ready to put the autumn plants in, so she's ready now. So this will well, yeah, winter not.
Boundaries.
Did I see an email from the resident that lives down there asking us to get the finger out?
I've got a planter on there.
Because an Asda delivery van just driving them over. There's an application. Well, do you realise this is pavement? It's totally avoidable, isn't it?
Do we need? Well, we've got two planters, two that constantly wants to move. So see where they go.
Even the big ones, still.
Your lad might go at the top.
Ah. So we don't have two wooden ones and two comps.
Yeah, there's two wood, two pop.
Yeah, so we can maybe spread them out a little.
Pretty sure if you screw the steel bands around those old wooden planks, pretty sure if you put tech screws in them before you can try and move it, it's always like.
Owns the big one.
Okay.
Then you're replacing them.
Which one?
The big one.
Big one.
Christmas tree one.
Christmas tree one. There's what is.
We'll not discuss it.
It looks like it could do with that.
Yeah,
I have no clue.
given that it's half full of concrete. It's not the easiest job.
Yeah. 16, we're going to defer to the next meeting.
Were they not circulated?
No, well,
Because I-
I had a bit of panic about, they are ready, and then I had a bit of panic that they weren't the final version, so I just need to speak to them and
Yeah,
show them what
just-
it's on.
Okay.
Belts and bases, we'll make sure we've got final versions rather than.
Because Alan, Lindsay and I have been through them, and I've got typed up version for the answers, so I can panic.
I haven't seen the final one,
Okay, how much is
so I
Definitely.
don't know where we are, because I've got my one that I've got a handbrake on.
Okay,
But I haven't
well, that's
seen
where
the
we got,
final
that's
one.
where we got to.
17.
This was Lindsay's item, but he's not here, obviously, so.
Yeah. Consider an introduction of the village handyman procession and the actions.
We did already discuss this at great length, didn't we?
But this
And we have got a job description that has been amended twice now for a village handyman. So do we just need to finalise the job description and then advertise the position?
Is that? I thought that was changed, wasn't it? That's not.
What?
I'm saying, what's Pete's position? I thought he was like, he's.
No, he is only, well, this is where, well, I don't want to say anything that shouldn't, but, I'll email that, right?
Yeah, those are.
It's been mentioned before that he doesn't want to do it, so I don't know why you don't want to discuss it.
I think we've said that we're not discussing it further.
Yeah.
But if he didn't want to, he'll email round.
Thank you for your update. Move on, item 18 then. Correspondence received.
The question about the land that's on Rec Lane, I will obviously have sent the information to you, and that I'm just waiting for some more information on that. Bus shelter at Ellington Lane, property management continuing to look at again, because we're getting quite a lot of pushback from a resident at Swan that wants it to be demolished.
So is that resident that's one?
I believe so.
Right,
It wants it.
Yeah, once it's demolished, if we're looking at it, Shon's site,
It's not in that bad condition.
it's not that bad.
Right, so, but.
The planters, obviously, we've discussed.
Not that I want to go back that last point.
Yeah.
Not that I want to put brakes on that if they do want it away. But there's talk about rural bus services and
I
stuff.
know, but this is where we got to.
You've got to be
This,
quite careful.
the last we got to was that we'd gone back to the
Then that
Royal
same
Scotland to
residential
say,
man was a bus stop again.
would they, if we would pay to kind of, do any sort of necessary repairs, would they then take it over and they said, oh, maybe that, yeah, so it's not been definitely ruled out by NNS.
It was cheaper to mend it than destroy
No, but
it.
it just, yeah, at the moment, we've inspected it a couple of times, and it's okay. Planning application we've obviously spoken about, because that was the gentleman that spoke in the public session. And then this email from Northern Water, they've got some, it sounds like quite a long term, like it's going to take 12 months of, yeah. So I've just asked them for some information, and they've sent me back a letter which I'll send around and just let them yesterday.
That, I think it is at the meeting that we were at, the Rivers meeting. Yeah, I remember that the new water treatment worked in.
Yeah, it sounds like trying to work
Yeah,
something.
that's it.
But I just said, could we have some more information so that when we inevitably get asked the question, we've spoken up, can we have some information? So some information has been sent through, and I think I'm waiting for some more as well.
I've had letters as well.
That might, yeah, I think that's what they've sent to me so far, but then they said that the other guy would get in touch with me, so who knows a bit more.
Is the land to the south, between it and the river, is that the farmland or is it?
There's literally a specific plan.
Yeah, but from the wet field, you can walk right round.
To the bottom of it.
That's Keith.
That's it.
The field.
Yeah.
Not the
It
field,
used to be
but
quite
the area
nice
where
walk
the
and
back
then fence it all off. Yeah, because that's what I was talking to Lady Jackson Keith about it, so.
So anyway, as I say, I'm just waiting, they sent me the letter that's been out to residents. So I don't think I got that independent.
Maybe well, for once we got one.
But they've sent me that, and as I say, they're going to put me in touch with somebody that can tell me about them. Just go.
Move on to planning.
Planning, nothing really exciting, we've got that, that's the one at Swarland. Bottom.
Some of these seem to be in the way because these.
Well, some of these ones, I mean, look, like these ones have come through, and these older ones have not.
Yeah.
But,
There seems to be many slow on a lot of things at the moment, and sensible applications as well.
and do you want to put in a, obviously,
I think the surgery, I think we need to put
just
a
put a positive one?
positive one in there.
I don't like the colour scheme.
What's the outside?
Yeah.
What's the
There's the talk about rough brick and things that don't match the buildings near it. And they've said it's in line with the rest of the buildings on the other side and further down, but it's on its own up there, it's not near the
So it
building.
should match Coker Park, you think?
So I think we should have matched Coker Park personally. But that's just I'm still all for the building.
Sometimes I think that when it's something like that, it's worth it standing out so that you know it's something that's different.
It's got a great big metal great thing in it.
It's going to be
I think it's okay. No, I think it's important that people associate it with the village, with Coquet Park.
You don't want to just blend into
No.
as if it's a small bungalow there, to be fair. But, you know, but we've got a huge car park.
Affordable housing, it is.
So, does anybody else like to make a comment to that effect? I will say we support it.
Yeah. It's a great addition.
Maybe I could just ask them to review the planning person to review.
Yeah, make your own.
The materials.
They'll review it, the materials and the submission anyway. You would imagine.
So what's the verdict? Yay or nay for Anne's suggestion? Yay or nay for Anne's?
I'm happy with
I
it.
agree.
It's-
I think it's okay.
Sorry, Anne.
Yes,
All right, I'll
you
make my
can
own.
always put your own
Yes, I've got
objections.
my own in, I'm not worried.
Yeah.
I'll say this is another shite.
So those are bricks.
These gonna have bricks that look like they've got a disease.
The spotted bricks.
My house is spotty bricks.
Is it?
Yeah. No.
Why did it?
Items for the next agenda. Anything?
I think at the moment.
Nothing at the moment. Perfect.
Something else.
Just email me it.
Yeah, we've got to the
Christmas
24th.
party.
Are we having a Christmas party? I think we can discuss that for the next week.
For the council.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Still make it 8th of
Paid
December.
for by the residents.
No, we'll just go down the delegate, right?
Next ordinary meeting will be the 4th of December, 7:15.